there was a huge concentration on making weapons. And we made the tests in 1974 and we also tested in 1998.
But we focused on
But
making bombs.
internally there was some focus and openly for political reasons during the Congress government of Indira Gandhi in 1974 and during the Vajpayee government of BJP or this thing, both the governments. Now last year 2024, suddenly I was in fact surprised by the news item which appeared. Our Prime Minister visited Kalpakkam. This is before the elections.
Hello, Federal viewers. Welcome to a special interview on the Atomic Energy Bill 2025. This bill will be tabled in the ongoing winter session of the Parliament. Today, my guest is Mr. T.R. Govindarajan. Hello, sir.
Hello.
He used to be the former dean of the Homi Bhabha National Institute. We'll be talking to him about the Atomic Energy Bill because this bill opens the big door for private players to enter into the nuclear energy production, which was unheard in the last 60 years. Hello, sir. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm fine. I'm happy to be here.
Thank you. So the government says the private participation is essential because the Nuclear Power Corporation of India alone cannot achieve the target of producing 100 gigawatt by 2047. Do you agree with this statement? Is this reasonable one or an overstated one?
Okay. So your point is very well taken. First of all, this projection of 100 gigawatt is kind of a vision. In my opinion, it will not be achieved. Now,
Despite private
even if private players come. Okay. But it is a vision. You always go with a vision that we want to have a good this thing. For example, DAE, Raja Ramanna, who was the chairman in 1985, declared that they will have 10,000 megawatt or 10 gigawatt and by the year 2000. This was declared in 1985. We are yet to reach in 2025. We are at the moment about some 7 gigawatt or something like that. We are still shortage of that. So our DAE's performance per se is a bit lackluster. They are trying to do probably good work. There's definitely no doubt. They are very talented people and they are doing. But the problem for this projection comes from private sector involvement is what is the cost of 100 gigawatt by nuclear energy. Now, if you take as ballpark figure, by 2010 when Kudangulam came, it was 1 gigawatt was costing something like 10 to 15,000 crore rupees. 1 gigawatt.
1 gigawatt and it costed
10 to 15,000 crore.
15,000
crore.
crores.
Now it has gone up. It is easily 1 gigawatt will cost easily 40,000 crore to 50,000 crore, around that figures. So the total amount required for 100 gigawatt is something like 500,000 or 500 lakh crore rupees is required. So this is the vision. So we should take it in that thing with a pinch of salt. But this is the problem with this whole thing about 100 gigawatt. Okay, projection.
So how much as of now India is producing? How can we have the figures of how much of the nuclear energy are we producing in India, and what is the percentage, rough percentage, when we compare to the other sources of electricity that we produce?
Okay, we are still dependent on coal and oil, hydroelectric. So
these are the primary
ones. Nearly 70 to 75% is dependent on coal thermal plants. And we are using hydroelectric, we are using oil, etc. They will probably contribute 10% or something like that, etc. Compared to that, as of now, we are producing something like 4% to 5% is nuclear energy as of now. That is one reason for this is earlier it used to be even worse. It used to be 2% or 1.5%. That is the thing by 2000, year 2000. But there was a problem with the way our atomic energy program has been done. There was a huge concentration on making bomb, okay, weapons. And we made the tests in 1974 and we also tested in 1998. And these two tests, which were done, immediately led to international reactions of boycotting Indian programs, particularly what they call dual use programs, scientific programs. And even the nuclear suppliers group was started at that time, which will refuse to give you any nuclear materials. We cannot import uranium, which is a huge shortage for our problem. So those things were affecting us in a big way.
So we
And
started this mission, in the sense,
Mm.
the nuclear energy mission, mainly to not to depend on the energy, but for
Well,
the
I won't say that. According to Homi Bhabha, he had a vision and openly declared we do not want to make bombs. That was his declaration. And many other chairmen also declared that we are not a nuclear weapons country.
but we focused on
But
making bombs.
internally, there was some focus and openly for political reasons. During the Congress government of Indira Gandhi in 1974 and during the Vajpayee government of BJP or this thing, both the governments for their political uh, improvements, they use this. And of course, our nuclear energy leadership also went with that and made the test. And it has international reactions. We cannot ignore it. And for example, our Kalpakam reactor, which should have been finished in 1976 with the Canadian collaboration, was immediately stopped by the Canada. So we had to do it indigenously. So it's a good thing that we achieved indigenously, but it delayed the thing by something like 6 years. So it was finished around only 1982. So we had two plant, which is now known as pressurized heavy water reactor. Given technology was given by Canada, but indigenously done. So now the same thing has been replicated in some several places, Uttar Pradesh, Rajasthan, Gujarat, Karnataka, all these places. And it led to something like from 235, two of them, it went to about 2000 megawatt, 2 gigawatt. But that was hardly not comparable to the thing.
Sir, in its current form, the Atomic Energy Act 1962 bars any private ownership due to national security and proliferation risks. So, if private companies start building and operating reactors, any new risks will be emerging. How government decided to open the private entities through this new Atomic Energy Bill?
So 1962 Atomic Energy Act, which was envisioned by Homi Bhabha at that time, was to make sure that, of course, there was a lot of most of the activities were by only public sector. Anything which you take space or whatever programs there. Now that was what was in 1962. Now the Manmohan Singh's government decided that we will import. Okay. In fact, it was done during Rajiv Gandhi period. He had the agreement with Gorbachev in 1988 for the two Kudangulam plant. In 1988, it was made, but 1990 Soviet Union collapsed, and that agreement could not be carried further. Only after 2001, the same agreement was revived, and by 2010, we had Kodangulam plants which are there. But most all the times we were only importing collaboration with foreign governments or government recognized private bodies. Okay. So, for example, in India, Tarapur was built by General Electric. It's a private company. It is private company there, but under the authorization of the United States, they had the thing here in India. So, even, of course, the ownership is by Government of India. That was a thing. And they realized it was completely under Department of Atomic Energy. So now they have separated two parts. One is for the research and development activities related to nuclear energy, nuclear bomb, everything, which will be under DAE. There is another one which is only power sector, and that power sector goes under the public sector company, which is called Nuclear Power Corporation of India Limited. But it's completely government owned public sector company. Now there is some attempt to involve the private sector in collaboration with NPCIL, because private sector by themselves do not have the manpower, do not have the technology, and they have to essentially take help from either within India or from outside.
I understand, because on the one side, the business people who want to invest, they would like to get good returns
Within
for the
7 to 8 years.
yeah.
See, whatever they have, it's like, for example, Enron came in 94 or 95. They wanted the whole money to come within some 5 years with a huge return. Now, that is not practically possible. In fact, Maharashtra government suffered because of that kind of agreement. And
Actually, the government is also forced to give subsidies. Election after election, they have to
subsidies
come
will
up
be
with
subsidies
subsidy.
for nuclear thing will be given. There is no end to it. But subsidies may not be enough for them. They may
To
want to make
sustain.
they may want to make a profit, which is whatever they have invested. They want to get something like 15 to 20% return per year, or whatever they have invested, they should want to get back in some 5 to 6 years and then make profit after that also in a big way. That is very difficult to compromise. And if we compromise, there may be problems of safety and other issues, because they may try to cut costs. Okay, they will try to cut costs in safety requirements and other things, and that can be a problem.
India has only 76,000 tons of uranium. It's enough for 10,000 megawatt in the span of 30 years. But should private companies be allowed to participate in uranium mining or imports and processing? Do you think this would open a strategic resource to market volatility and foreign influence?
We do not have uranium in a big way. There is one in Bihar, which is Jadguda. There are talks something there in Meghalaya and something in Andhra, little bit. Our uranium capacity, as we know, is very, very limited. And that was one of the problems for the existing plants themselves. Availability of uranium to refuel, etc., was a big problem which was there. And to large extent, that 123 agreement solved it. So now we can import uranium. There is no problem. Kazakhstan will give, Australia will give, many countries are willing to sell, and there is no bar on them. There is no international agreement which will say that you cannot sell. Then, because we are part of nuclear suppliers group and we can import it, there is no such difficulty at all. So the uranium availability by itself, without mining, we can import it. There is absolutely no difficulty as of now. We
don't need to worry about
unless
lack of uranium reserves in India.
Unless we go about testing again. If you do that, then there will be international reactions. They will immediately put the bars, etc., and there will be problems. That could be there. But as long as we do not indulge, the government of India does not indulge, or DAE does not indulge in this thing, there may not be a problem of uranium availability at all. So the private sector does not come into the picture at all. So we can import it. It's only whether we have the money to import it or not. So all the plants which we have now, about 22 plants are there. And interestingly, our technology also is improved from 235 megawatt, which was done in Kalpakam, has increased to 700 megawatt plant, big plant. That is there in Gujarat, 700 megawatt thing. Two of them are running very well for the past 3 years. As far as I know, they are running very well. So they will be able to, in the next 10 years, replicate that. See, once you have a established thing, you can do it again and again, many places wherever it is possible. For example, Kalpakam itself can have a couple of more. You don't have to look for new places. That is the interesting thing. See, if you have, if you want some reactor thing to be built, then there will be protests. People who are anti-nuclear will also create all those problems. But already existing thing where land is already given, putting two more, for example, in Kaiga or Kakrapur or Rajasthan, atomic power project, etc., increasing by 2 or 3 more will not be legally problematic. So the uranium shortage is not a serious problem. We will be able to manage as long as you are allowed to import the thing. So we need not worry about that part. Okay, that is the situation.
Okay.
Mm.
So we don't need to worry about the uranium reserves, lack of
You,
uranium
yeah,
reserves in
yeah,
India. It's available and
from outside.
okay.
See, I also, Homi Bhabha's main program is first stage will involve uranium. The second stage will involve plutonium, which is the reprocessed thing for the breeder reactor.
Okay.
The third stage will involve thorium, and thorium we do have lot of thorium. For example, in India, because the Kerala coast and Tamil Nadu coast, sand is full of thorium.
Okay.
So, if you develop the technology, advanced technology to use thorium as a reactor, then that is the third stage. Then there is no shortage of fuel at all, because there is so much of uranium available, thorium available. So, this is the current situation. We have about 22 reactors. We have about 8 gigawatt, approximately 7.5 or so. And now the new advanced pressurized heavy water reactor, which is more advanced than Kalpakam, they produce 700 megawatt, which is a kind of indigenous growth in terms of S&T, which DAE can be happy about. They have developed it. And the uranium availability for all these plants are available through 123 agreement. That is one of the situation as of now. There is no problem. Now, the next stage about the thorium, the fast breeder reactor, they wanted to start what is called the fast breeder reactor, prototype fast breeder reactor, the real reactor, 500 megawatt kind of thing. Now, that is bottlenecked. They have been telling for the past 15 years, every year they will say that this year it will go critical, and then it will not go critical, and next year it will go critical, and it will not go critical. That has been happening for the past at least 10 years. I have been watching the scene. Now, last year, 2024, suddenly I was in fact surprised by the news item which appeared. Our Prime Minister visited Kalpakam. This is before the elections. 2024, he visited, and there was a news item which came which said that the Prime Minister is loading the fuel for fast breeder reactor. Now, you cannot load the fuel without the clearance from Atomic Energy Regulatory Board. Now, Atomic Energy Regulatory Board gave permission to load the fuel in August, some 3 or 4 months later. Now, maybe it is for political purposes or something like that, for publicity, etc. But it is only a thing that probably to encourage them to go ahead and try to do something. It may be that kind of a shock.
The new atomic energy bill supports small modular reactors, thorium reactor and next gen designs through private R&D. Do you think India is technologically ready for such a big leap?
Well, actually, you cannot keep quiet, because SMR strategy is there all over the world, where advanced nations are taking part in that. And few of them, there are several designs are available, and they are doing it also. And at a level of operational SMR is there already in Russia and China. Okay, they are there. And there are a couple of commercial people are also, New Scale and other things are also operating SMR. Now, by SMR, what they mean is the reactor is less than 300 megawatt. Even Kalpakam is only 235 megawatt. It is less, but it is not modular. Modular means you have to build the whole thing and encase it and give it. And that person, wherever it is there, it is getting utilized, some data center, etc. It will be connected to their grid. That's all. They cannot touch anything inside. It has to be inherently safe. Nobody is going to operate it at that time after that. So it has to be inherently safe. That kind of reactor design has come to that level, and advanced SMRs are now in a very advanced stage of production in several places. India also claims they have several designs, but they have not yet demonstrated even a single one. There are designs of SMRs which, if they succeed in demonstrating, NPCIL or somebody, if they succeed in demonstrating, then it is one thing we can actually be hopeful of it may be utilized. But the question is, you have to demonstrate actually functioning SMR. That we have not yet shown that we have succeeded in making it.
Sir, as of now, this atomic energy, the nuclear power plants, all these things, only the government is managing the entire department, the workforce, everything. But now, with this new bill, where we will be using a lot of private players, and are we ready to face all the potential risks if the private players are coming in? How far the government is ready, and have they assessed the safety and the risk assessment?
Well, I assume they have made some attempts. So there is a regulatory board, like all the countries where even private fellows are allowed. There is a regulatory commission. So we have Atomic Energy Regulatory Board now, which is monitoring even NPCIL. Atomic Energy Regulatory Board monitors Nuclear Power Corporation also. So that part is a separate activity, and hopefully it is a policing. It is like policing.
Okay. Sir, under the CLND Act 2010, Section 17B gives the operators right to sue the suppliers in case if there is any accident. How can, don't you think this will scare the private investors?
Okay, so this is a very, very important point. If you go back to the history, as part of the 123 agreement, so the Western countries, particularly United States, demanded that their power plants should be bought, and some other things were there. Now, this required a clarity on liability. Okay, so this CLND, as you mentioned, is civil liability against nuclear damage. That is the act. CLNDA is the act which was created for that purpose. There is a detailed discussion of FAQ in DAE website itself, and each of the points which they are trying to explain. And political opposition by both BJP at that time, which was in the opposition, and left parties were also protesting that, because they were also against this particular thing which was being done, and they didn't want any dilution of the compensation issues, etc. So, as part of the compromise, this thing was created. First, they said a compensation to the tune of what is called 300 SDRs, special drawing rights, which was equivalent to 1,500 crores in those days, 2010. Now, as of now, it is something like 2,500 crores, because the SDR value, like dollar value appreciating, SDR value appreciates. So, this is what is the current situation with respect to compensation as of now, and this itself also this is the who is the burden, on whom the burden will be. The burden will be on the operator, not the supplier. Okay.
So only the government will bear all
So
the
NPCIL, NPCIL, or if there is a private operator, some private company operates it, they will have the burden of this thing. Now, there is a need to revise that. There is no doubt about it, but it should be revised in a much more reasonable way, because the cost of, as I mentioned, the cost of a 1 gigawatt like Kodangulam was coming up at that time was 10,000 megawatt, 10,000 crores. Okay, 10,000. Now it is going to be 50,000 crores. 5 times the price has gone up. All the power, all the activities, etc., etc. So the inflation is taking place in a big way, and SDR inflation is not sufficient. Okay, so we have to revise this 1,500 crore also to something like 5,000 crores or 6,000. It should be revised even more, Okay, on the other side, not they should not be removed. In fact, it should be enhanced to this thing. It should be kept at the level of whatever is the cost of the reactor, put at something like 7% of that as a compensation, and they can take insurance for that. They normally will take the insurance. If you say 1,500 crore, the insurance premium will be easily of the order of few hundred crores every year. You have to give the insurance company, who will guarantee that they return that money, 1,500 crore. This is the way it will be done.